that tonight. There's something wrong with my actual streaming software. So yeah, it's super sparkly and it shows so much better in person than even what you can see on the screen. So I am back on YouTube. Go check it out, guys. Those of you that are on Instagram right now, go check it out over on YouTube. Unfortunately, tonight I'm not gonna be able to screen share because that's why I stream through another server. I stream through Restream so that I can actually screen share with you guys. But for some reason, it keeps crapping out on me every time I try to go live. So I'm just going to go live just strictly from YouTube tonight. So either one that you stick on, you could go on to YouTube or you can go on to Instagram. You're going to see the same thing tonight. Unfortunately, there's not going to be a screen sharing. There's always something. So when I get done with this live feed, I'll reach out to the software company and just see what's going on. Maybe I just need to reset it or something. I'm not really sure. I've never had that problem before where it just shuts down on me when I try to go in. So, but I get it figured out though, because we have our big live feed coming up next week. So for those of you that didn't see the post today, we are going to do a live stream next Wednesday night with the majority of our speakers for Cutie's Conference Stage. You're going to get to see them live. As long as my software streaming service is working, that is. So, but I wanted to introduce you all to our Cutie Crowns this year. They are gorgeous, you guys. They're rose gold. So I don't know if you can see that because of the video and everything like that. They are rose gold with that pink stone, but it's not like a pink. It's still like a rose gold. So it's very, very pretty. It's very, very luxe. We do luxurious things here, right? So they're really nice. They're really, really nice. And this is my favorite crown so far. This is my favorite crown that we've done so far. So they're super heavy and intricate. Actually, if I take it off, I can probably pull it up to the screen so you can see it a little bit better on Instagram. So you can see the detail. I'll post pictures and stuff too. And then same thing here on YouTube. Look at that. That's better. It's up close. You can see it. It's super pretty, guys. This is my favorite crown that we've done. And we've done crowns, I don't even know how many years now. Yeah, I might have to keep one. We always end up having like one or two extras. So I have all the crowns in my office, like up on my mantle in my boutique area here in my studio. I have all the crowns up. Yeah, they're kind of mine, right? I want them, kind of. But yeah, so this is the crown that you could potentially win coming to Cutie's Conquest Stage. We have several of them. We have several different categories that we give prizes out for. One of them we will be announcing very soon as far as how you can win one even before the weekend starts, and that's our social media star. I'm not going to go into it yet, but that is one of our categories that we do every year. And you can actually start winning these crowns prior to even attending the event. So let me start prepping for SMS, right? Yes. Social media. That's right. Yep. Social media star right here. Social media star right here, man. So we will be starting that relatively soon. So be paying attention. But I wanted to show these off because I'm very, very proud of them. I love them. And I might keep one for myself. Just saying. I am keeping one for myself. That's the beauty of being a promoter of your own event. You get to keep all the goodies for yourself. Yeah. Anyway, okay. Now that we've gotten through the hiccups and all this stuff from the live, unfortunately, like I said, I won't be able to live or screen share tonight. But we are only doing a preview of this weekend shows. So at least there's that. So we'll go through each of the ladies and we'll talk about it a little bit. Social media queen herself, Jamaica, right? Yes, right? So we're going to talk about the shows that we have coming up this weekend. There's a few of them. There's actually quite a few, but most of them have like men and things like that, and not bikini, wellness, or figure. There is one overseas. What is it? Let me pull it up. Fit Parade, I think it is. Yeah. So there's Fit Parade in Hungary, and they do have the figure, and they do have wellness over there. But to be perfectly honest with you, I don't know hardly anybody on these lists. I do know Alessia Carpo. She's from the US. I know her just because I've known her for a long time. And she's actually been competing I think longer than I have, but I've known her for a very long time. So I do know her on the figure list. But other than that, I don't know any of these other names. Majority of them, again, we've got like one or two people that are from the US and everybody else is from Europe and things like that. There's somebody here from India, Mongolia. There's a bunch of random, and I don't mean to say it negatively, random competitors in here that we just haven't seen before. So I am starting to, I've told you guys this before, I am starting to pay more attention to these European shows and things like that. But the issue with this too is that we don't have a whole lot of history on many of these competitors. Many of them have just started in the pro league. Many of them have just won pro cards. The NPC worldwide has only been around for a few years. When the IPB and the IPB Elite split, I believe that was 2017. So it's like a whole new world over in Europe. And that's why you guys ask me a lot, like why, competitor standards are different in Europe and things like that. It's because the federation was split just a few years ago. So their standards in Europe are very different than ours here in the States. So they're still playing catch up. They're still playing catch up as far as what the criteria is. And you'll notice a lot of times the girls over in Europe, their suits are different, their presentations are different, their posing, their hair, their makeup, and also their muscularity is different. Their shape, their frame is different. You'll find that in general, the girls over in the European shows tend to be more muscular, tend to be harder, tend to be, what if they were supposed to be in bikini, they would be on the borderline of figure, and so on and so forth. So, one thing that's been very good about this process of the two federations splitting is we have a lot of judges from here in the States that will go over to Europe and they will judge those shows. So we are seeing the criteria starting to evolve in Europe to match the standards that we have here in the States. But you'll also see, like we were talking about that, what was it? The tsunami. We were talking about the tsunami show. There's only a couple of competitors in that show that actually fit the criteria. And that's also why you see a lot of the European girls compete over there, but then they'll come here to the States too, especially if they want to get up into the top callouts in the Olympia. Good example of that, Maureen Blanquisco. Maureen is from the Netherlands. She did fantastic over in European countries. So she started coming over here to the States. Now she lives here in the States, and she could potentially be your top 3 Olympian this year. She was 4th this past year. She's a great example of somebody that came here to the States and adapted to the criteria here. Another one that's doing very well that we'll see how she does at the Olympia this year is Ivana Escandar. She's another one from Spain, does fantastic over in Spain, comes here to the States. When she first got to the States, she wasn't doing great. She was still in the top 5, but she wasn't winning every show. And now she's winning a lot of shows now that she's in the States. And again, it's because she's evolving to the criteria better here in the States versus what they actually reward in Europe. So with all of that said, what I am paying attention to when it comes to these European shows is which girls actually win. Which girls actually win these shows, because they're the ones that are going to end up coming here to the States to compete in the Olympia, right? They're the ones that are going to be Olympia qualified. They're the ones we'll see that will probably evolve through the next year or two to help, kind of match their criteria here from the European countries here into the States. And we are going to see a lot more European competitors coming over to the States, things like that. The last couple of years have been hard for them because of the COVID restrictions and getting over here and quarantining and all that kind of stuff. So I do expect that over the next few years, we're going to see quite a bit of European girls doing very, very well once they get here to the States more and can compete more here in the States. So what it used to be, like when the federations first split, a lot of times girls from the US would go over to Europe because they felt like it would make it easier for them to win because they fit the criteria better. And they did. A lot of times girls that were placing okay here in the States would go over to Europe and they would just dominate in Europe. That's not the case anymore. That's not the case anymore because the Europeans are catching up. The Europeans are catching up to our criteria from the States. They are catching up to our standards and trends. So, it's going to be an interesting couple of years because we are going to see a lot of these girls that are from, the European countries starting to really dominate. we're going to start seeing some domination. I think that it's going to get more and more and more so. It's going to get harder and harder and harder for everyone across the world, not just here in the States. It's going to get harder for everybody because we're literally expanding. This worldwide expansion is going to start taking off a whole lot faster, in my opinion, now, because we don't have as many restrictions as we did over the last couple of years. So hold on to your hats, right? In the meantime, I don't know any of these girls. In the meantime, I don't know any of these names, so I will pay attention when the pictures and everything come out from this show, from the Fet Parade, when they come out after this weekend, so we can get an idea of who may be somebody to pay attention to going into Olympia, right? So again, sorry, I can't screen share this, but if you ever want to find the pro lists, they are on ifbbpro.com. So the one that we're talking about right now is Fit Parade, and that's the one that's happening in Hungary this coming weekend. So there is figure, and there's classic physique too. But there's figure and there's wellness in that particular show. So for those of you that are just joining us now, I am live on both YouTube and Instagram, but my streaming service decided to not work this evening, so I can't screen share on YouTube like I typically do at this point. So we're going through the pro lists, and we're going to talk about who's going to be a threat for this coming weekend for the shows. And if those of you also that are logging on right now, if you're wondering why I'm wearing a crown, it's because I deserve it. But these are our crowns for Cutie's Conquer the Stage. We are getting in a lot of our gifts and prizes and things like that, but some lucky ladies, about 12, 13, 14, 15, depending on how many standouts we have, will win these crowns at Cutie's Conquering the Stage. So I just got to show them off a little bit more. There you go. Thank you. Yeah, on the nude lipstick comment. So I have a hard time with nude colors. Like, long story short, I gravitate towards pink. I gravitate towards like a pink lip, right? But now that I got the super dark hair, I can get away with more colors of lips and makeup in general. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try this nude thing. I'm gonna try it, and I actually really like it. I actually do really like this. I'm like, okay, I can do this. That's one thing you don't realize. For those of you that have never been like different hair colors, when you're dark haired, you can get away with a whole lot of makeup that you can't get away with as a blonde. So I can have a whole lot more fun with makeup with my dark hair than I could when I was a blonde. So anyway, side note, tangent right there. Okay. So we are going to go into the Titans show. So again, I did pull up pictures, but unfortunately I cannot show them. So, right? It's the truth. It's the truth. You can get away with a whole lot more when you got dark hair. So the Titans show should be an interesting one. We have some girls in here that we would automatically think are going to be standouts. But there are some girls on this list that we thought were going to be standouts a few weeks ago, and they weren't. So it's a matter of if these girls come in good condition this week or if they don't, right? I have my signature Cutie Beauty lip color in the nude color range. Yes. I think yours is you use Hustler, right? So Raven, you use Hustler as the nude, and then I think your red is Rehab, right? If I'm not mistaken. I know everybody's makeup colors. Yep, there you go. See, I knew it. Okay, so again, if you want to look at this pro list, it's up on ifbbpro.com. It is the Titans Grand Prix this coming weekend. And right now there's 14 competitors, but I imagine we might see one or two people jump in. Noticeably not on this list for the first time in many, many weeks is Alessia. So thank you. I'm really happy about that. She does need to take some time off now going into Olympia. So she is one that is not on the list. To be perfectly honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if we end up seeing her jump into it, but I would like to see her stay off the stage. I think it would be a smart move for her to stay off the stage, so that she can fill back out going into Olympia. So I'm going to go through some of these names, that could be potential, people to be looking out for. And again, I wish I could share my screen. I'm kind of annoyed right now, but whatever. I'll figure out the restream aspect, what's going on there. First on the list is Ariel Barley. Okay, so Ariel was qualified for Olympia last year. She was very close to actually getting the top 10. I believe she was top 15, top 16, something like that. She was towards the top. I've mentioned this before. Ariel is a beautiful girl and she has amazing stage presence when she gets on stage. She has amazing shape, an amazing look. Like she's very standout when she's on stage. This year, her conditioning has been noticeably off. Pretty much every show she's gone into, her conditioning has been off. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why her conditioning is off, because her shape is definitely there. Like you can see it underneath her, her layer that she needs to peel off. So it's been a couple of weeks since she was on stage last, and I believe, if I remember correctly, she was. Let me pull up what placing she got. It was the Nevada State Pro, so it's been a couple of weeks, and she took 6th, which still isn't bad. But going into this show, I would have thought she would have been in the 1-2 position, right? So, I'd like to see her get back up into those top spots. I'd like to see her be able to qualify for the Olympia, but she has a significant amount of conditioning to work on from what she had a couple of weeks ago. Now, maybe these couple of weeks were enough. Maybe these couple of weeks were enough for her. Hopefully they were, because I think she deserves to be in the Olympia. A couple of my other critiques for her from the last show was her posing. Her posing was a little bit wonky. She needs to kick back in her hips. She was pushing forward, and that really didn't show her shape well enough. So there's a few posing errors that she made, but mostly it was her conditioning that needed work. So we'll see if she's able to pull that in for this show. If she can, she's going to be a threat. If her conditioning is in, she is going to be a threat for this title, right? Next one that I have on the list is Jessica Dolius. So the last time that Jessica got on stage was New York Pro. So I competed with her at New York Pro. She did well there too. Let me pull up what her placing was at New York. 11th. So Jessica tends to be a first call out kind of girl, right? New York Pro is very difficult. This is a little different when you're talking New York Pro. But that was still a pretty good placing for her. At this particular level of show, because it's a tier 2 show. It's a very high ranked show. Her feedback all at the beginning of the year was that she needed to add some size, right? She needed to add size. Her frame was great, but she just needed to add more size. So she's been off since May, and I think that was smart. I am very curious. I mean, her Instagram updates all look great, but you can't ever tell anything from Instagram, right? So I'm very curious to see how she looks in this show, but she gave herself a good amount of rest. She's very close. Her shape is very close. She just needed to add some more fullness onto her frame. So maybe those few months that she took off was enough. I'd like to see that be enough for her. I think that if she comes back nice and full and tight and round, she also can be up in that top 3 fighting for that winning circle spot. So it's been a little while since we've seen her, but I don't expect her to be off. I expect her to be very, very good, because she typically is when she's been rested. So let's see. The next one that I have on the list is Liana Gianna Moore. So Liana kind of came out on the scene earlier this year and just took the world by storm because she placed top 4 at Pittsburgh. So again, Pittsburgh, very high tiered show. It's a tier 2 show. So if you go in and you place well at Pittsburgh, you get noticed. You automatically get noticed. From that point on, she did do well. She was in that top call out. She was getting Olympia points, all of that. And then she went over to, I believe her last show that she did was Evolution, Mr. Big Evolution Pro. And she ended up outside. She was in 7th at that show, which I think was her lowest placing after Pittsburgh, right? Before Pittsburgh, she was in the last call out, I believe. Before Pittsburgh, I believe she was 16th place. So she went from like a 16th or 15th place or something like that, and boom, up to 4th place like a week or 2 later. So she turned it around real quick. But her body just dwindled over the course of trying to compete and qualify for Olympia. So again, she's another one that has taken a good amount of time off. This show was, when was this show? Is there a date on here? July. So this was July. So she's been off since July. Okay. So she's had a few months to kind of chill and relax, right? I think she's pretty high on the point list. I haven't looked, but I think she's pretty high on the point list. If she's coming back at her best at this show, again, she could be a threat at this particular show. Now, the thing with her is that she is more muscular. She's on the more muscular side. So if she does not come in tight enough, it's very noticeable. Like her frame doesn't show well if she doesn't come in tight enough. So hopefully for this particular show, she will come in tight enough. And if she does, then she is going to be a threat for this show as well. Next person that I have on here is Jordan. So Jordan just came off of a win at Legion, a very dominant win at Legions. I actually could have made an argument for her at the UK Arnold to be higher placed than she was. She is, I think that to me, Legion was her best look that I've seen so far. So coming off that win last week, she's the favorite to win. I mean, it was a very dominant win. She was definitely like, you know, and again, her stage presence is really, really hard to beat. Really, really hard to beat her stage presence. She has great shape from the front, great shape from the back. When we did our wrap up of Legions, we talked about how she's right down the middle. She has that really great tie-in in the back on her glutes and her hamstrings. That's not overly done. She doesn't have those diamond drops, but she has those nice full round glutes. And like I mentioned at the UK Arnold, I thought her back shot when she was posed was the best back shot in the whole show. I felt like her front shot was the best shot in the whole show. Her issue at the UK Arnold was they told her she needed to be about 1% tighter. She did shake a little bit and jiggle when she walked. When she went into Legion, none of that was there. That was not there. That's all she needed to do in order to come in and win this. I think that Jordan will most definitely be a top 10 competitor at the Olympia, if not potentially in the top 6, top 5 positions. If she continues the way that she is, I really see her being a big time threat in the Olympia. So I think she's going to win this show. And to be honest with you, I think she's probably going to win it pretty easily again. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Another one that I brought up for this one that's a maybe. The next two girls are a maybe as far as for this show is Alexandria Ross. Alexandria just did the Nevada State Pro, and I believe she was, where was she placed? 5th. So she was 5th. But Alexandria Ross is one of these people that she just comes out of nowhere. You know, she's won big shows. She's won the Chicago Pro before. She'll just like automatically somehow she just swoops in and boom, she's a winner. So I wouldn't sleep on her. You know, I wouldn't sleep on her, but she's got to significantly uptick her conditioning from where she was at the Nevada State Pro. Now, a couple of weeks, you can do that. In a couple of weeks, you can do that pretty easily. So if she did that, she's going to be a threat. I still think she needs some posing work. I think she needs some presentation work. I think she needs a little bit more glute than what she has. I think her upper body is a little bit dominant. But if she brings her conditioning in and she fixes some posing things, all of that can change. All of that can change if she comes in with her conditioning on point. So again, she's not one to count out. She's a maybe. Okay. She could be a potential threat. Right. And then the last one that I put into a maybe category is Elisabetta. So Elisabetta has been up and down since she's come here to the States. She did place 2nd in the Tokyo Pro, and then she started competing here in the US. And she was getting, 2nd, 3rd, that kind of thing. And then she just did the Legions and she fell down quite a bit. Where is she? 11th there. And I believe the week before, I think at Nevada State, she did Nevada State too, if I'm not mistaken. Let me pull that up where she was. Where is she? Yeah, the same thing, 11th. So she fell out of those top call outs. From the first time that I saw her on stage, I was like, I think she needs more size. I just think she needs more size in general. Let me see I didn't look at her from Legions. So let me take a look at her pictures from Legions real quick. One of the things she did do to improve since she came to the States is she really improved her conditioning a lot from her first show that she did here in the States. She still has some posing things she needs to do. Based on the Legion show, she's pretty washed out through the midsection, which tells me her body is tired. She was really hard at one of the shows, but that was better for her. She got her conditioning in. But I'm seeing that washed out stomach, which again makes you think that she's a little tired after competing several weeks in a row. That's what happens. Let me find a back shot. She's one of these ones. She's smart. She doesn't hit her back shot a lot. There is a shot of her back shot right here, but it's really washed out. She looks like she's tired from the back. Sure, her glutes are lacking pop. They're lacking that pop on the outside of her glutes, and she doesn't have the fullness back there that she needs, and she doesn't have the tie-in from the back that she needs. But again, she's smart about her posing. That I noticed this at the last show that we talked about with her and critiquing her, is that she doesn't hit her back pose a lot. And she does that on purpose because it is her weakness. She's stronger from the front than she is from the back. So she doesn't hit her back pose except for once. So she kind of moves through it and transitions through it versus actually hitting and holding it. So it's funny. I actually like seeing that, because that tells me she understands that that's her weakness and she knows that she's got to fix that. So if you ever pay attention to these girls and how they do their posing routines, sometimes you can tell what they know is their weak point and what is their strong points, because they'll try to hide their weak points as much as they can. So unless she significantly fills out here at this next show, I do think it's time for her to kind of take a break and take some time and put some size on. She's kind of dwindling. So we'll see. But she's still, I mean, I say that, and then her first two shows here in the States, she did do that. She flipped it real quick. Like, she was real soft and flat the first show, and then she came in super conditioned the second show. So maybe she does that again. It's always up for that option there, you know? Okay, so that's our list. So go ahead and comment in, you guys, who you think is going to take home the win here. I personally am putting Jordan in that first place spot. I think it's going to be hard for anybody to beat her. Outside of her, I'm going to put Jessica and Liana. I think that's going to be your top three. And then the rest of it is going to depend on conditioning and how these girls come in, whether they come in conditioned enough, whether they come in full enough. If Ariel can come in good condition, she's going to be in that top three. If Alexandria, bumps up her conditioning, she could be in that top three, right? Jordan for the W. Yep. I agree. We're getting into that time frame now where you're going to start seeing, like I've mentioned this before, you're going to start seeing these girls coming back and doing warm-up shows prior to Olympia. Now, you're also seeing some of these girls that hit it hard at the beginning of the season, have quite a few points, and are coming back to try to wrap up their Olympia qualification, right? Like Liana, we haven't seen in months. Jessica, we haven't seen in months. But they are both towards the top of that points list. So all they need to do is just kind of grind away for the next few weeks, the next few shows, and get those points added up. Nobody is safe in this point game. Let me see if I can actually pull I don't know if the standings are updated as far as points. Let me see what it says as far as the update. Updated on October 11th. So they were updated just a couple of days ago for points. And again, I'm on ipbpro.com. Sorry, guys, I can't screen share tonight. My streaming service is not working. So I will figure that out for when we start next week. You get to bikini. Not at bikini yet. Hang on. Here we go. Okay, so our top point earners right now in bikini, Jody Junker is at the top of that list with 30. I don't think that anybody is going to beat that in points. I just don't think that's going to happen. Stein, Hanson, I mentioned her from last week. She's at 23. Again, they're pretty solid in those top two spots. Stein, I could see somebody jumping over her. Let's see. Lana's in third. I'm looking at Lana's in third at 18. Lana is not safe right now. So I'm kind of surprised that Lana is not on the pro list this year or this week, because she needs to compete more if she wants to qualify on points. Jessica's at 13. So if Jessica gets a couple of top 5 finishes, top 2, top 3, she can easily bump up into that third place spot. Real easy. Where's Liana? And Liana Gianamore is at 12. So both of them, both Jessica Dolius and Liana, they're 12 points and 13 points. So all they need is a couple of top 5 finishes, and they're bumping up into that third place point spot in order to qualify. So actually, Jessica just logged on here on Instagram. I was just talking about you, Jessica. So both of them are threats on that point list to bump out one or two people on the top 3 points earners. I'm looking to see if there's anybody else on this point list. What's her name? Where is she? Elizabetta is one too. Elizabetta's at 15. So she's close. So if Elizabetta can turn her conditioning around and her fullness around at this show, she could potentially bump up into that top 3 spot too for points. I would say that Jody is definitely safe on the points. She's going to qualify. But I don't think even Stein, again, I don't know how to pronounce her name, Stein. I don't think even she's safe. She's pretty close at 23 points. She's pretty close. But I still can't say that she's 100% safe because we do have enough shows here left where she could potentially get bumped out. So we have qualifying shows for another month. So, yeah, I mean, this week the point system could really get flipped upside down. Just from Jessica and Liana Gianamore alone, the two of them could really kill some dreams here. Could kill some dreams in those top points. So we'll see what happens. Again, I think Jody is safe. I don't think she has to worry about that. But outside of Jody, I don't think anybody's safe. I think anybody can come in, and because the point says anywhere, I would say anybody that's got the 12 points or above could potentially knock somebody out. So we're looking at Liana, Gianna Moore, and up on the point list. And I do think that Jordan will take the win again. That's my 2 cents. She's on a roll. So if she does, that means that the rest of the girls in this list are going to be fighting for those points and could be getting up into that top 3 spot right there. Right? Any questions, you guys? Any questions? So for those of you logging on, yeah, I'm wearing my Cuties Conquering the Stage crown right now. These are some of the fabulous prizes that you ladies can win at Cuties Conquering the Stage when you come. I've got more that I'm announcing. If you notice, I'm announcing prizes every week. So yes, the crown is fierce. It absolutely is. Like I've said, I am keeping one. I keep one from every year. I have a crown from every year. I'm sorry. Like I said, since I kind of own the event, I'm allowed to keep a crown. I'm allowed. So here, I'll take it off again for those of you that are on now. When y'all were on that first started, I'll put it up so you can see what it looks like. It's a rose gold with rose gold crystals. Here you go. For those of you on YouTube, here you go. It's friggin' gorgeous. Like I said, this is my favorite. This is my favorite crown that we've done so far. This is my favorite one. I love it. It's super heavy. Yep. So if you haven't gotten your early bird ticket yet, this is your sign right here. This is your sign to get your early bird ticket. Their link is available in my bio. When I repost this live on YouTube, I'll go ahead and update the description box and all that kind of stuff too. Again, sorry about the restreaming. It didn't work tonight. I don't know why. Software decided to crap out on me right when I went live. But I'll get that fixed for next week. And next week on Wednesday, we will have a bunch of our speakers from Cuties Conquering the Stage joining us live. So if you are on Instagram, make sure that you join us on YouTube because they will be joining us through my streaming service as long as it works. So that we'll all be on live at the same time. So, yep, I know. Jennifer was like, I'm going to let somebody else win crowns this year because she won 2 last year. Jennifer Lynch won 2 crowns at Cuties Conquering the Stage last year. She's like, I'm gonna give somebody else a chance. Now she's like, nope. She's like, I want one. I'm coming for it. I'm coming for the crown. I'd be coming for the crown too. It's pretty phenomenal, I have to say. Outdo myself every year. We have so many fun things coming, you guys. Every year I try to have a certain aesthetic theme for the whole thing. Oh, this year, wait till you see. Oh my goodness, it is going to be amazing. Okay, and on that note, if you want to work with me, suitsandposing.com is where you have to go. We do hair, makeup, suits, and posing, all the fun stuff when it comes to competing. And I will be back on again live on Tuesday. So it is Thursday already. Goodness, enjoy your weekends, you guys. I'll see some of you all at Sundays with Shawn this coming week on Sunday. So I will go live on Instagram at Sundays with Shawn, so you can follow along in the group posing if you like. And then we'll be back on to review these shows, wrap up these shows on Tuesday next week. And then we are rocking and rolling into a new week. We're already halfway through freaking October. My goodness. Okay, I'm going to, what did it say? The pink, the pink would be beautiful between my two blue beauties from last year. That's right. You're gonna get a collection. Get a collection here. Okay, guys, I'm gonna let y'all go. Log off of YouTube first. And then Instagram.